Mental illness, trauma, abuse, dealing with the past to face the future. Whitechapel return with their latest album as their most personal and reflective to date. So join me as we take a journey into the valley. Before I get started on this review, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe. If you like the channel, if you like the videos and you want to support, make sure you hit the like button now. People often forget to do it by the end of the video. Leave a comment, let me know what your thoughts are on the album, and for those of you who are interested in such a thing, I'm going to be doing the written versions of these reviews from now on freetobe.whoib.com. So this is the band's 7th studio album, and it's the follow-up to 2016's Mark of the Blade, and it comes out via Metal Blade Records. The album title itself, The Valley, is a reference to Hardin Valley, which is where vocalist Phil Bozeman grew up, and like a lot of the lyrics from songs, this deals with he had a tough childhood, and a lot of that comes out in his lyrics, and no more than they do in this album. While we're on the subject of that, it's fair to say that there's a lot of darkness in this album, and it comes from a very real place, and it's probably best discussed as I'm going through the songs. So without further fudge, let's do that. Track number 1, When a Demon Defiles a Witch. This one starts out with a beautiful sounding clean guitar before everything blasts off into much heavier territory. Joined shortly after by Phil Bozeman himself. I remember when the fire was security, now it's killing me. A wolf can't hunt without its prey, so take me to my grave. The demons dance by the fireside, but tonight they migrate to my bedside. The choruses have a great use of clean and heavy vocals stacked on top of each other, which is used to great effect. It has to be said for those death metal purists out there who are probably going to be quite upset by the fact that there are quite a number of clean vocals on this. The album, I mean. There's a very effective bridge section that goes into some more ambient kind of instrumentation along with some more clean vocals. What has the world come to when a demon defiles a witch? Nobody trusts a word I say. I can't erase these memories, but I will erase humanity. Not only that, throughout the song we get some pretty impressive lead playing and some complex riffing. Now, there were 5 songs that were released prior to the album, and I believe 4 of them had Instagram story posts by Phil Bozeman himself explaining the lyrics. A huge part of the lyrics in this album were actually taken from a journal that Phil's mother kept, and by all accounts she suffered from multiple personality disorder. In fact, she was diagnosed with 34 different personalities. Not only this, but the handwriting in the journals would change depending on the personality that was writing it at the time. Add to this an abusive stepfather, who Phil attributes directly to his mother overdosing and killing herself. Very abusive guy, it sounds like, and Phil certainly has no love for the man. Definitely dark stuff on this album. Now, by all accounts, the demon in the title of this song, though, does not refer to the stepfather. Rather, it refers to a personal demon of the mother's known as Micah, and she wrote about this in her journal. I'll just quickly read this bit out. This song specifically references that demon, Micah. Phil showed and read excerpts from his mother's journal, focusing on a couple of lines where his mother explained that a demon named Micah would sexually assault her in her bed, taking the physical form of Phil's father. And the title of the song itself actually comes from a line from the journal. It takes on Gary's bluish grey body, a real physical body, a dead body raping me, a devil raping a witch. Apparently Phil's real father was called Gary. The next track is Forgiveness is Weakness. This track goes straight into the heavy, and there's a strong Lamb of God vibe to this one, particularly in the vocals. This is for my family, the ones who suffered with this. Let us have this moment. And then later in the song, he's finally dead. I'm assuming that this one is about the stepfather who did die. I'm not sure whether it was recently or not long after the mother passed away, but yeah, Phil did actually write down that when he heard of his death, he was one of the only people he'd ever heard of dying that he had no remorse for and no sympathy for. Quite understandable. Sounded like a real piece of shit. Next up we have Brimstone. Now, I really dug this song. It has that slightly too slow tempo. It's just just a little too slow that it kind of gets under your skin. Not to mention an incredibly low guttural growl from Phil. Ooh, that was terrible. I think I'll go back this way, there are folk over that way. Scum. Phil explained in an Instagram post how the lyrics in this song were directly inspired from a dream that he used to have, a recurring dream when he was a teenager, about killing his stepfather. Sleep with one eye open, you have no idea what I'm capable of. Keep claiming holier than thou. My knife can stab more holes than you can count. How dare you sleep where a king once slept, and dry the tears of where his queen has wept. This is a really heavy song and I enjoyed this one, if that's the right word, a hell of a lot. Great song. Next song is Hickory Creek. This one starts out with another clean guitar intro. It slowly builds, and I found that Phil's vocals on this one had more than a hint of Corey Taylor's clean sound voice. Clean sound voice? Clean sounding voice. Clean vocals. The band have talked about this themselves, but this is no doubt the song that will be a point of contention for a lot of the older fans and the straight up death metal heads who like nothing but the guttural growl. It's certainly one of the most mainstream songs that they've ever done, but once you delve into the lyrics once again, you'll find this is goddamn heavy. This path I walk is comforting, but now I'm left to sing this song alone. I'm fading faster now. It's time to walk away with nothing left. Nothing left in my soul. I'm fading faster now. Next up we have Black Bear, and this one has a touch of nu metal as well as gent in the riffage. Phil explained that the black bear is one of the most dangerous predators in the animal kingdom, especially in the area of Tennessee that he grew up in. So this is kind of meant as a bit of an homage to where he grew up. And he also combines this with the metaphor that the black bear is his stepfather, the ultimate predator. As it states here, he felt that his stepfather was the apex predator of the family, and more specifically the household, preying on Phil's mother, who suffered from a myriad of serious mental issues. He has come for the blood of my only son. I can sense his heartbeat slowly fade. The sound of my voice is his way to me. I buried my tongue with my family's bones. Really good tune. Next up we have We Are One. Faster pace to this one with some low-end gent. This is another one that I felt had a very Randy Bly kind of feel to the vocals. And you will never know my name. You will never take that from me. There were moments of this song that had a at the gates feel to the instrumentation, as well as the vocals, to be fair. And we also got a bit of a sludgy breakdown section in there as well. So many dickheads around up here today. There's one right here. Next up we have The Other Side. Some mid-pace chug introduces this one before getting into a faster pace. Through all the hatred and pain, I'll stand by my brother's side. We'll overcome and make it out to the other side. Another one that had more than a hint of Lamb of God, in a good way. Next up we have Third Depth. More clean vocals, and this one had more than a hint of Tool in both the instrumentation and the vocals. Phil explained that the title of this one referred to the basement that he grew up in when he was a child. Basically, he'd spend a lot of time there on his own when his mother would disappear for 3 or 4 days at a time. And essentially he would get very into his own head and especially dwell on the hatred that he had for his stepfather. And according to Phil, the verses seem to represent his feelings in the past, whereas the choruses kind of are more indicative of where he feels he's going in the future. So, an example of a verse. A fantasy awakes, a dark desire to watch you slip away into oblivion. I can't wait to see your flesh turn pale. When I hear the last breath you take fail. And an example of the way he's thinking towards the future. Even with you dead, I still feel the pain. In my heart, things will never be the same. Now I must live out this dark fantasy. I am not the man I came to be. A bleak song, both lyrically and musically. Next up we have Lovelace. This was another fast-paced one that I felt had elements of Gojira thrown in, especially the choruses. And I really enjoyed the pace on this one. Help me, I'm begging and bleeding, I need you now. Help me, running away will get you found. Help me, flesh and blood runs deeper than this. Help me find my way back home. A pummeling song. And final track on the album is Doomwoods. It has to be said that this one was a real highlight for me. Starts out with something that sounds a bit like a Tool riff, kind of plodding and atmospheric, and really builds to create some really dark atmosphere. The atmosphere on this track was great, and I really enjoyed the drum fills. Worth pointing out as well that the drums were done by Naveen Copperwise, who appears only for this album and does a stellar job. I think he used to be in Animals as Leaders and who else? Animosity. The song makes good use of dynamics and has a real sense of melody in the choruses. A great atmospheric song and a suitable close to a great album. So that's the album, and I give this an 8 out of 10. When I first listened to it, I wasn't really expecting anything other than a death metal, deathcore album, and there's certainly those elements to it, but it's much more. There's great use of ambience and dynamics, clean vocals that really work, and of course there are going to be a lot of people who are dismissive of the clean vocals and the more mellow parts of the album, but it's the lyrics that really provide the heaviness to this album, provide something special. It's so weighty, documenting this truly dark childhood of Phil Bozeman, and it's just something to behold. It's there's something really special with this album. Highly worth your time, definitely worth checking out, and very good work from Whitechapel. And that will do for today, I think. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my Devin Townsend review for Empath, and also I just recently did a review of the latest Rammstein single, Deutschland. Next week I'm going to have my review of Periphery, their new album, Hail Stan. I'm also going to do a review of Disc 2 of Empath. I got the special edition, the deluxe edition, which had 10 bonus tracks. Also, I'm hoping to get a classic album review done of Mastodon's incredible Crack the Sky album, which had its 10th anniversary about a week or so ago. So a lot still come from the channel, and